GPT-5.6 Luna, Grok 4.5, and Qwen 3.8 all claim they can carry a real coding agent workload, so I ran the numbers on cost, benchmarks, speed, context, and deployment to find out which one actually holds up. The surprise is that the cheapest model of the three isn't the compromise pick, it's the one topping the coding leaderboard that matters most. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one deserves your API key, and which one only wins if you need something the other two can't give you. Let's start with the number that decides whether this workflow is sustainable at scale. GPT 5.6 Luna charges 20 cents per million input tokens and $1.20 per million output tokens according to official pricing. Grok 4.5 and Qwen 3.8 Max both charge $2 in and $6 out. Luna is roughly a tenth the input cost of either rival. Cached input is where it gets uglier for Grok. Luna's cached rate is 2 cents per million tokens. Grok's is 50 cents. Run a long agent session with a lot of repeated context, and that 25 times multiplier on cached tokens adds up fast. Qwen matches Grok's sticker price on input and output, but its cached rate sits at 20 cents. Better than Grok, still nowhere close to Luna. GPT 5.6 Luna wins this one clean. If you're running this at any real volume, the math does the arguing for you. That's not a small gap. My name is Brian, and I spend most of my week digging through model cards, leaderboards, and pricing pages, so you don't have to cross-reference 5 tabs to make one decision. Cost doesn't matter if the cheap model can't actually write working code, so here's where the story gets more interesting. On SWE Bench Verified, the benchmark that grades models against real GitHub issues, Luna scores 93% according to the Vellum leaderboard aggregation. Neither Grok nor Qwen has a published figure on that specific benchmark. Qwen 3.8 Max scores 86.6%, actually ahead of Luna's 84.3% and Grok's 83.3%. It's close, but Qwen edges it, and on SWE Bench Pro, the harder real-world issue set, Qwen leads again at 67.7% against Grok's 64.7%, with no published figure for Luna on that one. So the headline number, Luna's 93%, is the biggest single score in this test. But no model wins every suite here. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. But Terminal Bench 2.1, which measures agentic terminal task resolution, flips the script. Luna takes the round on the strength of that one dominant result, and Qwen quietly beats it twice on other benchmarks that measure real agent behavior, not just issue resolution. A model that codes well but takes forever to respond breaks the feel of an agent loop, so speed matters more than people give it credit for. GPT 5.6 Luna measures at 166 output tokens per second, according to Artificial Analysis, an independent source, not a vendor claim. Here's the part that matters more than raw throughput. Grok's time to first token runs 13 to 17 seconds, community reported. That's the gap between a vendor headline and what people actually experience waiting on a response. Qwen 3.8 has no published speed figure at all, a real blind spot if throughput matters to your workflow. Luna wins this test on a measured number against a vendor claim and an absence. Grok 4.5 claims 80 tokens per second, but that number comes from XAI itself. That's not close. Stick with me because the last 4 tests are where this decision actually flips. Hit an output ceiling mid-generation and you're stitching partial responses back together, so this test decides how much you can actually get done in one call. Luna and Qwen both ship a 1 million token context window, a genuine tie on raw capacity. Grok trails at 500,000. The real separator is max output per request. Luna caps at 128,000 tokens. Qwen caps at 65,000, half of that. Grok's practical output sits around 32,000 to 64,000 tokens. Community reported, because its reasoning overhead eats into the same window before it ever starts generating. Luna takes this test outright. Bigger context matters less than people think, but an output ceiling that's double your nearest competitors is the difference between finishing a large refactor in one pass or splitting it into 3 prompts. The best model on paper doesn't matter if you can't run it where you need to, and this is the one test where the story completely reverses. Qwen 3.8 ships open weights at 27 billion parameters under Apache 2.0, meaning you can self-host it, fine-tune it, and never touch a vendor API if you don't want to. It also handles text, image, and video input, the widest modality support of the 3. Grok 4.5 is the most locked-down option here. XAI's API only, text input only, no EU availability confirmed yet. Luna sits in the middle, text and image input through OpenAI's API or OpenRouter, but still fully proprietary. Qwen wins this one clean, and it's not close. Open weights change the calculation entirely because it removes vendor lock-in as a concern altogether. GPT-5.6 Luna wins on the numbers that hit your monthly bill and your daily workflow. It's roughly a tenth the input cost of either rival. It tops SWE Bench verified at 93%. It's the fastest measured model at 160x tokens per second, and its 128,000 token output cap gives you the most room to work in a single call. Grok 4.5 doesn't win an outright test here, but it holds its own on Terminal Bench 2.1 at 83.3% and posts a strong LM Arena ELO of 1580 for blind-tested chat quality. The trade-off is a real one. You pay 10 times Luna's input price for a model whose speed claim doesn't match its measured latency. Qwen 3.8 is the only one of the 3 offering open weights and full multimodal input, and it actually beats Luna on 2 separate benchmarks, Terminal Bench 2.1 and SWE Bench Pro. If flexibility matters more than raw price, this is your model. GPT 5.6 Luna is the pick, and it's not close. It wins cost, it wins the headline coding benchmark, it wins speed, and it wins output capacity. That's 4 dimensions out of 5, with Qwen only taking deployment and modality because open weights are a genuinely different category of value, not a knock against Luna's coding performance. If you're running heavy coding agent work and cost per token actually shows up on your invoice, Luna is the default. The decisive reason is simple. At 20 cents per million input tokens, it delivers the top coding benchmark score at a fraction of what either competitor charges. That's not a marginal win, it's a different tier of value entirely. Here's what the spec sheet won't tell you about Grok 4.5. XAI advertises it at speeds around 80 to 119 tokens per second, and community numbers back that throughput up once it's actually generating. But time to first token runs 13 to 17 seconds, community reported. That's not a typo. You can be waiting nearly 20 seconds before the model says its first word, then watch it generate quickly once it starts. If your workflow needs a fast first response, not just fast throughput, that gap will bite you every single time. If you want to see how Qwen's open weight advantage holds up once you actually try to self-host it, that comparison is coming next, and it's where the real cost of free gets tested.